Hey everybody, so there has been a little bit of a change in how we're going to be able to count patient assessments. So while you're working as an EMT at your agency and you are with a paramedic partner, you're going to be able to count those assessments that you do while you're working. So when you have a paramedic partner while you're working, you're going to get some credit for that. So hopefully that paramedic partner can be helping you learn the ropes while working as well. And assessments are key as a paramedic. So you may count those assessments you've performed while on duty. This is assessments only. You cannot perform any skills or interventions outside of your current scope of practice. You got to be with an approved paramedic preceptor, and all this must be documented and evaluated on those student forms. So the same way if you're running as a third person, when you go on that call, you write the information on your PCR and your evaluation on there, and your paramedic partner signs on them, evaluates you, just as that evaluation for our records. And then you must also log this stuff into FISDAP. You will enter all that as a lab shift. You do not get any hour credit for this because that's definitely goes against Department of Education policies and accreditation policies, but we will allow you to count those assessments to work towards all those goals that you have of, so many trauma patients, so many cardiac patients, so many respiratory, and so on. So up next, you'll see the little video that is the walkthrough on how to enter that patient information. To log the patient assessments that you do while you're on duty as an EMT, you need to go into FISDAP, Skills and Patient Care, and go to Add Lab Shift, because this does not count towards your hours of getting team leads or your ambulance time, only to help you get all those required assessments. So lab site, Pierpont, we're going to do the EMS assessment department, put in, date, start time, and for duration, put in 0 hours because these hours do not count towards your total clinical hours, and hit save. Now that the shift pops up, you're going to add a patient. Okay, this menu should look familiar, the same way you enter in all your other patient information. So pick your preceptor, all this other information, put in for patient assessment. This is the big area you're worrying about, that you did the interview and the exam. So 85-year-old male who had an altered mental status with a change in responsiveness and had a breathing problem. So let's say they had an altered mental status, and let's say this person just happened to overdose. So you can see all the complaints, impressions, assessments that you're going to get out of this patient. Okay, whatever their category was, put in all their vitals, everything. And again, this is only for assessments, so you cannot count any skills or anything, and you cannot perform outside of your scope of practice as an EMT. So no intubations, no IVs, none of the ALS stuff. It's non-invasive counting assessments. The next, you go in here, enter in your stuff. Much longer narrative than that, but put in all the information about the call just for our records as well. Save the call, and then you'll go back to the shift. And then if you have any more patients that you did while you're on that shift, add all those in there. And then attachments, you have to enter in all the assessments and the evaluations that your preceptor gave you. So that paramedic partner you have, they must fill out an evaluation of how well you did an ALS assessment on this patient, upload as attachments. So once you have all of your attachments in, all your patient information in, go up and lock your shift. Even though you're only counting assessments, you still are required to fill out a patient contact form, because this is still a legal binding medical record for us. So you're going to basically just still fill out all the basic stuff about date, where you're at, age, gender, ethnicity, complaints, so on, vital signs, but you're not going to put anything down in the bottom half about procedures or interventions. And then you and your preceptor will fill that out, and your preceptor will fill out the field evaluation. That's just to help give you some critiquing and criticism on how you're doing, and kind of lets us stay in that loop as well. Okay, to review, hopefully you understand it's been out assessments only. You cannot perform ALS skills while you're on duty at your agency. That will get you fired and get your certification pulled. So you can only function at the level you are currently hired at, employed at, and functioning at. Even if you do intervene and do skills that are within your scope of practice, you cannot count those skills because that is your employment, but you can only count those assessments. You must be with an approved paramedic preceptor. One of the ones in the first team lead, so that paramedic preceptor who has at least a year of experience. All this must be documented on the respective student forms, and you must log it all as a lab shift in FSDAP. Assessments only, no ALS skills, can't count any skills that you are allowed to do, document it, log it in FSDAP as a lab shift. Have a good day.